Hi everyone, I'm Tyler Barker, Managing Director of Supplier. In today's video, I really want to give a deep dive into the importance of ranking your suppliers. Make sure that you have a measurement checklist and a ranking system in place to make sure that each of the criteria that is being measured is being actively scored against, and that you're working with your supplier to improve these scores and share the information with them to help both of you grow and improve as you strengthen your partnership together. So when you are purchasing components from your suppliers, make sure that you measure them and rank them against these metrics at the very least. Number one, measure them on the cost of their supply compared to similar manufacturers in the same field. Number two, make sure that you are vetting their quality. Again, I've touched on the importance of this. If your components arrive in the wrong quality standards, it will cost you a fortune to fix those issues. So make sure that you are vetting your supply chain ahead of time by asking them for quality certification, pictures of their quality inspection, videos of their testing equipment, and ensure that you are asking for the measurement checklists ahead of time. Number three, make sure that you're discussing with them payment terms well ahead of schedule, because payment terms can have a massive impact, both negatively or positively, on your business. Standard payment terms when you go to a new supplier in China tend to be 30% pro forma and 70% before the goods have even left. This means you are paying for 100% of the supply of your component before you've even seen them, and that can have a massive damaging effect on your cash flow. Number four is to make sure you're checking the shipping terms. This is such a difficult hidden cost that can sometimes have a massive impact on your business. Some of the most common shipping terms are ex-works, FOB, DAP, and DDP. Just a really quick breakdown on what some of those are. Ex-works is when the manufacturer will produce the components, but it is your responsibility to ship those components from the manufacturer's warehouse to your point of departure. FOB also stands for free on board. This means that the manufacturer will produce the components and they will also ship those components to the point of departure, whether that's a sea freight port or whether that's an airport. DAP stands for delivered at place, which means that the supplier will deliver the goods to your warehouse. However, they won't cover any of the taxes or import duty fees that are included. And finally, the fourth most common one is DDP, which stands for delivered duty paid. So this is exactly the same as delivered at place, except they will also cover the taxes and the import duty fees for you. This is a zero cost solution to you. So if a supplier is offering you this one, this means that there will be zero cost for you to receive the goods at your desired choice of location. Some of the hidden costs though can come in when you are using ex-works. The highest hidden cost in all of those four shipping terms is ex-works, and it can really throw us off when we end up getting the bill for that delivery from the manufacturer to your desired point of departure. This can be anywhere from $200 all the way up to $500, and if you haven't accounted for this in your quotation and your procurement team aren't aware of that, you can rack up huge fees on multiple shipments, which will rack up over the course of the year, and you can end up paying thousands. It is my advice to always ensure that your procurement team are limiting these hidden fees as much as possible by ensuring that they are asking the suppliers to quote at the very least in FOB, which again stands for free on board. This will minimize the amount of hidden costs that you end up facing as you're procuring your items. Point number five, which is incredibly important, is asking your suppliers what guarantees they have in place in case there is a problem with the quality or with the delivery of your components. I cannot tell you how many times we have purchased from suppliers who on the surface seemed amazing, their cost was brilliant, the quality ahead of time was fantastic, but then a problem occurred that cost our business a lot of money, and their willingness to take on any of that cost for us was nil, which meant that our business was left with a huge bill and the exposure to sort the problems out for our customers. And if your suppliers aren't willing to share that burden with you, then you need to find a new supplier, because if they have no guarantees in place, what this demonstrates is that they have no confidence in the quality of supply of their own product. So make sure that you are asking for a guarantee guarantee each and every time, or at the very least, asking the question. So if there is a problem, make sure you are asking your suppliers, what if? Don't just guess. Ensure that if a problem does occur, that they are willing to help you put a solution in place. The next really important metric that you should know ahead of schedule is their delivery times, but most importantly, measure against the accuracy of their delivery times. I can't tell you how many times we've been let down from suppliers who have told us that their lead times might only be 3 weeks or 4 weeks, and then by the time it comes to shipping the components, we have to wait further 2 weeks, 3 weeks, or even longer, and we have let our own customers down. Suppliers sometimes will say and do anything to win a contract from you, and this can lead to massive issues with your customer and your reputation, and you're having to go back to them and explain why, and having to explain why their products are now going to be delayed, and have to give a poor excuse as to the reason for it. Don't leave yourself vulnerable to this. Make sure that their delivery times are concrete, and make sure that you are actually tracking the accuracy of those delivery times. If a supplier is going to tell you it's 3 weeks, make sure it's 3 weeks, and if it's anything else, make sure that you're onto them and telling them that they need to improve, otherwise you will go somewhere else. Another really overlooked point when it comes to ranking a supplier is their communication. Certainly in procurement, communication is key. I can't tell you how important it is when a customer of yours needs an answer to a question and you're frantically chasing a supplier for an answer and they are ignoring you. There is no way for you to contact them, especially if they're in another country, and you are solely relying on them to come back to you as quickly as possible to help answer your customers' questions. And if they're poor at communicating, trust me, it will only be a matter of time before your customers get sick and tired of waiting for an answer and go somewhere else. So make sure that your supplier's communication is absolutely perfect. So always make sure that your supplier's communication is quick and efficient. My next point on how you should rate your suppliers is by asking for case studies. It is massively important that when you're starting business with a new supplier, that you ask them for case studies from other companies that they've partnered with, and make sure that you then go to that particular person they've partnered with and ask the question. Don't just take the case study for gospel. You will save yourself so much headache by utilizing a supplier who has a great reputation, who people are happy to talk about in a good light, rather than those that nobody knows about. Another really important point when it comes to vetting your suppliers is making sure that they have the right certification. Again, in all my years of procurement experience, the amount of times that I have seen people fake certification, utilize other people's certification, is really quite scary. And I can guarantee you, if you are not going through your own due diligence to find out the supplier certification, make sure it's legitimate, cross-reference it with the supplying body of that certification to ensure that it actually marries up with the supplier you are using, you will end up with so many headaches down the line. Certain suppliers nowadays are getting really good at forging certification. You need to make sure that you are doing your due diligence, because otherwise it will cost your company thousands and thousands of pounds by not avoiding these potential red flags that would have cropped up had you have spent the time checking the certification out from the start. My final point when it comes to vetting a supplier is checking their systems. Sometimes, in most cases, a business is only as good as the systems that it has within it. Now, especially in manufacture, there are so many things that can go wrong at so many different stages. If they haven't got the correct systems in place, which are absolutely foolproof, the whole thing will collapse. So you can spend as much time as you need auditing that supplier, checking their systems. You need to ensure that they are as robust as possible to prevent any problems from occurring. If for any reason that they aren't happy with sharing some of the detail of their system to you, you should see that as an immediate red flag, because in my business, I am happy to share our systems with our customers to show how concrete they are and how robust they are, to ensure that if anything occurs where there's a problem with quality or delivery, our system will let us know with as much time as possible so that we can react to those problems and ensure that a solution is put in place for you. So it will be a massive red flag if a supplier that you are recently starting to work with that might be new to you isn't happy to share those systems with you. So with all those points that are raised, I hope that you found this video really useful and take on some of the points that I've mentioned when it comes to vetting and auditing your suppliers, because you are only as good as the suppliers that you have. And trust me, from someone that's been through the lessons and from someone that has those scars from working with bad suppliers, trust me when I tell you, having a team of good suppliers can help your business win. So thanks very much for watching. Please subscribe and hit the bell notification so you can be updated when more useful content comes your